Hey, it's Thursday again, and we've managed to dodge World War III so far, so welcome back to Tokyo Happy Hour, and eventually my mouth will link up with my skin here. Um, so anyway, we've got some updates on a lot of things, and apparently everything happened in 1999 as far as like anime is concerned, because this is another 25th anniversary that's bursting at the seams. So welcome aboard. You may notice we have someone new here. That's right, this guy right here. Jacob's here, because he knows a lot about Digimon. And also, he's a cool guy. We've also got Nerdigans, the regular here, who managed to dodge being in a GTA TikTok clip today. So, all right.
I'm pretty sure you can use Nerdigan's life as like the plot detail for GTA 6 at this point.
Yes, I traversed through Sacramento today and somehow avoided being part of a carjacking and a shooting.
What?
I don't know how this happened. The one day I went out and used public transit, this happens.
Well, that'll teach you for going outside.
I can just see like the cut scene of like Nerdigan getting on the bus as the mission ends, and then it's just like mission complete. And it's like $1,000.
Right, and the music plays, you know, black and white scene in the background. Yeah. Well, we have some great news. I'm sure you're all very excited to know this. We'll just open up here as soon as I find the article. There we go. And congratulations to Disney for getting most of Macross, I guess. If you're not familiar with the Macross series, think Gundam, but not. Okay?
There's a lot of music involved. Let's be real. There's a lot of musical entries into the Macross franchise. There's quite a few with idols, too, if I remember correctly.
That's why it's not Gundam. But I'm sorry. I'm a Gundam supremacy guy. I don't hate Macross. It's just not my speed. But for those of you who are Macross fans, and I mean this sincerely, Disney Plus has most of the Macross 7 series and most of the OVAs. What seems to not have come through is what's vitally important to understanding the Macross series is Do You Remember Love and the original series, which is absent in this one. So if you're a Macross fan, congratulations. Macross 7's available. Macross Plus is going to be there. So you have great time with that one. The latest Macross.
Thank Harmony Gold for that, because Harmony Gold is a pain in the ass. And what happened is back in I want to say it was 2003. It's been since 2003. There's been an ongoing court battle in regards to the license for Macross.
Yep.
And in 2021, they finally came to an agreement in terms of the licensing, but just two of them did not get away from streamer jail.
So far. I mean, even Disney couldn't pry him loose. So it
should be emphasized that probably in the US it will be on Hulu, because there's been some misconception that all anime that's on Disney Plus is in streamer jail. No, it is not in streamer jail. Only Summertime Rendering was. The rest of them have been on Disney Plus worldwide, except for the US, because we don't have Disney Star yet. Nah. It's been on Hulu in the US. So stop spreading that lie. It is so freaking frustrating to deal with people that keep spreading it. Nah, it's not my fault, and it's actually more so Disney's fault that they are not marketing their anime, and Hulu, you need to start marketing, do better marketing too, for real.
Yeah, you heard it. Blame Nerdigans. So
that's what I usually do. It makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, right? The thing to remember, though, is as Nerdigans points out, this has been tied up in legal battles for a long time. The Macross series has not been internationally available ever. Ever. So this is the first time it'll be legally distributed in the United States in any form whatsoever, outside of a con and that one Suncoast store that has the deliveries in the back, if you know what I mean. But anyway, that's good news, though, for you guys, if you like Macross, of course. But don't get too excited, because not everything's there. So,
and Harmony Gold will ruin it somehow. They will find a way. They will find a way. Just like with Konami, they will find a way to ruin it, whether it's pachinko machines or with a licensing legal dispute.
100%. 100%. But as we mentioned earlier in the broadcast here, we do have an update on Dragon Ball Super Hero.
Dragon Ball Super manga, but yeah.
Right. In general.
There's superheroes in Dragon Ball now?
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
yep.
we just finished up the superhero arc in the manga, and the final chapter 103. For those of you that haven't read it, which you should, it was really Toriyama's passing of the torch to Toyotaro, because there is a specific line in there about how Goku feels like he could pass, on his duty of being the guardian of Earth and Earth's protector to Gohan. And as soon as I saw that panel, I was like, yeah, this feels like Toriyama just passing on the torch to Toyotaro. And then at the end of the chapter in particular, and I didn't realize it until someone pointed it out, because Piccolo is Toriyama's favorite character. When Piccolo is waving goodbye, and it's in the final panel, it's Toriyama saying, it's Toriyama's farewell. And it kind of further confirms what people have been reporting about Toriyama having a tumor, and knowing that he was dying. But yeah, what was said here in the interview is that Toriyama did write a good chunk of the chapters for the superhero arc. Chapters 101 through 103 specifically were written by Toriyama, as well as 91 through 100. And I'd like that the prequel was created with Toyotaro and Toriyama. And it feels like to me, and I don't know what you guys think, that especially like with the prequel working with Toyotaro working with Toriyama, it was kind of setting up everything. This whole thing was a setup for Toriyama to pass the torch to Toyotaro, with 103 just being that finale where it's fully, passed.
Well, and again, I mean, it's not like Mr. Toriyama was getting any younger. So even if he wasn't preparing for his eventual demise due to the tumor, he was also preparing for retirement. That eventually you do have to hang up your pencil, if you will. And the Dragon Ball franchise isn't going anywhere. So rest assured.
Unfortunately. Well,
They're just going to keep changing their hair, dude. Come on. It's not that bad.
Changing their hair, or we'll just put some 2 new letters on the back of it. This will be the same thing.
Well, something that came up in chapter 103 that I really liked is that they said that Gohan and Broly are kind of in the same category of, like, they're not like the same as Vegeta and Goku. No, they're beast because they were born with potential. Remember, Broly was born with like this unlimited power.
He had like 10,000.
Yeah, and then Gohan. It's funny because remember what we saw back when he fought Raditz. There was that potential back there too, and it's all been leading up to Gohan getting beast form. And to say that they're categorized in that similar beast power, I thought that was actually a really interesting way to go about it for Toriyama. And
it's very funny when we mention like Broly, because I have to keep remembering like the movies aren't exactly canon, and that's obviously what I remember Broly for. So I have to, I guess, go off of the canon of like the recent like Dragon Ball Super version of Broly. So I can't really use like those films as like a gauge of like his past potential, because we all know like the classic story, but obviously that's been like non-canon for so many years, and now they've officially made him canon after the fact.
It's basically the same.
It is in terms of like his power level. It's basically the same. Yeah.
But does backstory change much at all, or is it still the same backstory?
No, it hasn't changed that much. It's very similar, but it's just the way it was executed is a little different.
Truthfully, truthfully, the only thing you really notice about Dragon Ball with Super Brawly, if you will, is that Brawly is redesigned. It just seems to be that's the biggest difference, is that they're not on a different world, and Brawly has a redesign.
And he has more personality to him and more depth to him too, compared to like the original Broly movies.
Yeah, to a degree. He's still just very ballistic kind of guy. But that's what I'm trying to stress to Jacob, is that it doesn't change really. He just has a character design difference, and he's still Brawly at the end of the day. Even though they took out, what's his face there? The guy with the steak name. Yeah. I don't like the new voice of Brawly. I don't. It doesn't feel good, But I'm just used to it. My childhood was Vic Mignogna playing Brawly. Gah, spit it out.
But yeah, but it's going to be interesting to see where we go from here. Dragon Ball Super manga is going on indefinite hiatus, which is very understandable. Because originally they were saying that it was just going to be a month hiatus. I'm like, no way. There's no way it's going to be a month hiatus. Like usually for when they're transitioning into a new arc, it's like a 3-month hiatus. So add in, the whole thing with Toriyama's death. I wouldn't be surprised if it was a 6-month hiatus at least. I would not be surprised by that at all. Because Toyataro's got to get, his emotions together and grieve and figure out, or go over like everything that he and Toriyama worked on for the next arc. Because, there's got to be like, so an outline and whatnot to figure out what direction they were planning on going.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but in the meantime, while you're waiting for that, there is Dragon Ball Sparkling Zero.
Yeah, this is what everyone's been waiting for. Because remember, Sparkling Zero is the sequel to Tenkaichi 3. So this is Tenkaichi 4. But yeah, we got a roster update.
So brace yourselves, ladies and gentlemen.
Peggy 12.
That guy must be so rich. Oh, yeah. Give me them hexagons.
Full power! You'll soon understand the difference in our power!
I'm so not used to hearing the dub voices. It's been so long.
Oh, it has. Oh, no.
Yeah,
I love watching the dubs.
Listening to sub.
I love watching the dubs of Dragon Ball because as much as I dislike Chris Sabat, he is Vegeta's voice for me. So
I've met the sub voice actor for Vegeta, so he's so awesome. I love him.
My speed is unmatched even among the prime troops. Keep up with me, kid?
he's such a jive turkey. Like, it's so over the top.
Look here, young blood.
Yeah, exactly. I was teach you a lesson, son.
Look here, you sucker ass jaw turkey.
Oh, it's painful.
This is the true might of a Super Saiyan strength.
Oh. He just goes nuke now. He just does his dad's thing.
He just become an electrode and just explodes. It's weird.
Well, Trunks just did his dad's trick, the final flash thing.
Yeah.
A mindless beast like you is nothing but prey to a warrior of love.
Whoa, we're getting more of the Tournament of Power.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Well, they were cute. They were cute until they transformed, and then that was the point. They're not cute anymore.
It's very Toriyama, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yes, yeah. He likes to make fun of the henshin heroes. I've noticed. Especially in Tournament of Power, he had fun with them.
You're my prey.
How many ladies are all around me?
Roshi! Yes!
There's one character that never changes.
Roshi, we get like some perv moves from him. I want to see that.
His special move's gonna be like panties.
Yes!
Nope, we haven't got to the Digimon talk yet. Don't worry.
I want to see the perv moves from Roshi. I would love to see it trigger so many of these freaking Charmin soft Taurus. Oh my god, I can't stand them. They piss me off. But I would love to see it. I love to see it happen.
I can guarantee you that there'll be a time when like you have a Roshi like parry move where he steps out of the way, grabs the tail of one or the dress of one of the transforming girls, and then like a blood rocket allows him to like jet them off the fighting plane, like Super Smash Brothers out of the battlefield.
That would be so amazing.
I'm old, yes, but experienced. Founder of the Turtle School, creator of the sacred technique. Well then.
A lot of people forget about that. I think a lot of Dragon Ball fans that maybe aren't like dug in forget that an old man The Turtle Hermit invented the most OP attack in this entire franchise that literally can't be stopped.
I know, but that's because a good chunk of them have not watched the original Dragon Ball. Like the newer generation of fans, they're not like us who watched original Dragon Ball on Toonami.
Yeah, exactly. And that's that. I really think that if they were going to do anything smart with Dragon Ball Daima, is try to go back to that. Try to reteach that stuff, the innocent stuff.
Yeah.
Let playtime begin.
Nappa! Yes! Vegeta, I can fly!
Your orders for the rest of my life. Size means nothing.
Oh my god, if they got Takahata to voice Nappa, I will be so happy.
Evil, erase this rampaging monster. Must be taught a lesson.
Yeah.
Topo's voice actor is so dull for me. Oh, it's so boring.
His
like
sub voice actor. So
404
much better.
souls not found.
Yeah, right? He's so dull. It's like he's recording it in his bathroom while he's taking a poop.
Yeah, his sub voice actor's a lot better.
Space Australia! Yeah!
Oh my god, please tell me we're gonna see Ginyu. Please.
You can't have Jason Birder and not have Captain Ginyu.
I know.
It's
you need
peanut
to
butter
have
and jelly.
Ginyu. Of
Wait
course
a
we're gonna
minute.
have Kale.
So you can have Kale and Brawly fight each other?
Yeah.
I don't think. Can the game handle that?
What, you think it's gonna break the game?
Yeah, well, it did when Gogeta was fighting him. It broke the
It's
whole
like-
universe, and they never explained why.
It's like watching Brock Lesnar and Brock Lesnar in a wig fight each other.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. A bigger wig. You see what I mean? Vic's voice was so much more distinct.
Yeah.
And this new guy is just like, I'm angry guy 17. But yeah, this is cool. Now I see what they did with the green. They went Hulk. They coded Brawly for the Hulk. See the green and purple?
Yeah.
That's clever branding. That's the Japanese for you. They take something efficient and they say, we will make this work for us.
Yes.
Better wrap this up quickly.
Don't think
Hit,
you can
yes!
enter my crosshairs
Oh,
and
that,
just walk
that was a
away.
good choice, was to put Hit in there.
You cannot win.
He stops time, Jacob.
Good grief. Looks like we've awakened a real bona fide monster.
Oh yeah, by the way, Brawly pukes lasers. Just so you know, he just barfs lasers. He gets so mad.
Because he doesn't have enough power. He might have just like
right.
Dude,
he
but
gets
who's gonna win? Nappa's mouth laser or Broly's mouth laser?
that. I hope the trailer ends with that. Oh. Is there an after credits one? No.
No.
It's more of it.
So
Okay,
is
cool.
Android
Hercule's
21
here.
going to be in this game too?
We're not sure yet.
No. I'm gonna say no, Jacob. I don't think that the robot pimp is gonna make the roster.
No. That's 15. I said 21.
21
That's
is
a
the
pink
waifu.
one with the boobies,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, you were talking about the alcoholic drunk. That's a completely different robot.
Yeah. Sorry. I get my shameful stereotypes mixed up.
No, 21 is the one who looks like an Only Grant fans girl, not the black drunk in
That's
New
right.
Orleans.
That's right. I will have to wait and find out. She's OP, so probably. Seems to be. It looks like this is going to be like a dump of all the OP characters. Yeah, is Ghost Nappa going to be in this? I hope
Dude,
Ghost
I want
Nappa.
to see Ghost Nappa in there. That'd be awesome.
Like,
But
there's a small reference to it. That would be great. Like, he has like one line that references the Abridged series because they love them, apparently. So,
well, yeah, they bring them in to
Yeah.
voice characters. So that's why I'm like, is Takahata voicing Is he voicing Nappa?
That would be hilarious if, like, one of Nappa's entry lines is, Vegeta, I can fly.
Oh my god, I will die if that happens.
Or even worse, it's just like, why is it always in the dick?
Yeah, right?
Always in the dick!
Why does he keep hitting me in the dick? Yeah, you have to watch the Dragon Ball Z Abridged series here on YouTube to understand it, but it's well worth it. Believe me, it's well worth it.
Did you see the Boo bits that they've done for the Boo saga? Oh my god,
yeah.
so stupid.
Anyway, that's what's going on there. But we should get to the first anniversary of the evening. We are getting to Beyblade hitting 25 years, guys. That's right. 25 years of Let It Rip.
Today is the 25th anniversary, and that's art is drawn by the Promised Neverland mangaka Posaka, and they're the ones that draw the art for the manga Beyblade X, which is really, really good. And it's written by the mangaka of Kakiguri as well. And there's a common writer reference as well. One of the characters, this character here, Isao, wears a common, he has his common writer persona, common X, because he is a famous Beyblader trying to go undercover because he wants to go up against the strongest Beyblader, which is the captain of the team that he quit from. But there's poor Bird, who is the guy with the big red hair, who gets his ass whooped. I feel so bad for him. I really do. But one picture I didn't send you that, well, she's in the color pages, but there's this girl named Multi De Niro, and she is like, she makes all the Beyblades that they use. Well, except for Isao. Isao just uses his own blade.
Isn't that the girl in the background here?
Yeah. She like wears outfits based on the Beyblade that she's using, and she is awesome. I love her. Oh my god.
Well, that's how you get girls into it.
Yeah, you use a magical girl.
Yeah, King Osier. King Osier had to negotiate having two queens in the not the Yas Queen or the drag queens, none of those, just actual queens.
She is a queen. I love her.
And what they did was they made them juxtaposed to each other. They made one a glamorous kind of Instagram girl that doesn't get her hands dirty except when she's killing monsters.
Well, she is technically a social media queen too. If I really think about it,
that. Yeah,
social media and everything.
And then the other one is this really closed off, really reserved kind of justice-seeking police lady. And they did it really, really well. And I'm really glad that they're really putting their best effort into attracting female fans to these on the Japan side, because that means it'll have a double, triple effect over here in the West.
Well, we did have that a little bit with the original Beyblade, remember? Well, we did have the ship, but it was censored with Ray and his wifey. But that was censored because
like 4Kiss is what you guys saying? There's a 4Kiss the thing.
It wasn't 4. That was Saban, I think.
Yeah, Saban had it back then. Yep.
Yeah, but yeah, there's Esau. Yeah, the one in the center is Bird, and poor Bird, he gets his ass whooped every time.
He's one of those characters you can't help but root for, though. You might not recognize these guys.
For him. I know the fandom is getting sick of Bird getting his ass whooped. But yeah.
Well, again, I mean, like, you might not recognize these guys. These are the newest additions for the 25th anniversary. This is a special anime manga that's being released to celebrate all of this, as well as introduce new Beyblades into the market in the hopes of revitalizing it.
Yeah, the anime's coming out soon, I think. The manga started last year, like in June, I think. Yeah. This is in June or July it started.
One of the things that this highlights for me is that I realize that we are experiencing a similar drought in creativity in the market. There's nothing to do with these guys not being creative, but they're redoing all of these properties 25 years later, and a new idea of what to do with tops hasn't entered the mainstream market over there, similar to how we're just redoing things over and over again because not because we have a new idea, but because they keep selling tickets, they keep selling merchandise, that kind of stuff. And so
Beyblade never stopped, so neither did Digimon or
Super
Pokemon.
Sentai, Kamen Rider, it's all been going forever. And so I see that this dearth of creativity is kind of infecting their market too, where they're getting like people like Jacob and my age, like, we're doing this stuff and your age too, Nerdigans. You're not like some grandma or something, I'm not trying to exclude you like that. But like, we grew up with Digimon, right? And so the Digimon hitting a 25th anniversary is like sort of encapsulated for us because there weren't younger fans. There weren't too many kids that came after us that got exposed to Digimon. It kind of died out here in the US after the second season. And so
I would say after Tamers, or Tamers or Frontier really died out. Probably after Tamers, it really died out.
yeah, I would say Tamers because I don't remember anybody caring about Frontier when I was growing up. But I also live in the North, so. But anyway,
Nobody likes Frontier. It's just the way that it is.
What I'm getting at is that like all this merchandise is made for the older fans sometimes, and I often wonder what children are left to think about now that they see all this very fancy and well done merchandise made for adults that are fans of Digimon. It's a property here in the US that kids have probably never heard of. They have no clue what the heck a Digimon is over here.
Yep.
Yeah, well, apparently in California they didn't like Tamers. So.
I'm in California, and my friends like Tamers.
All my Cali friends don't like Tamers.
See that? It's a turf war for Digimon.
I was in Northern California. I'm in the Bay Area, or I was in the Bay Area at the time. So.
Here's the thing: like, as time has gone on, it's like I personally think that O2 is probably the worst one out of them all. It felt like was it Frontier? They tried to go back and I guess try to let's go back and try to regain that adventures audience that we lost out on because they didn't like the transition from O2 to Tamers, right? Even though Tamers is widely regarded as the best Digimon series they've created to date. At the time, it was like, oh, you're not doing TK and Kari and Ty and all these guys anymore. Like, we're not watching this. And then, of course, it took a while for people to accept that, oh, yeah, this is way better than those other two series.
Man.
Here it is, though, is that, oops, I clicked the wrong one. There we go. VTSXE. My bad. I read that too fast. My apologies. There's a lot of people who like Digimon Frontier in Washington, especially people like the opening theme. And yes, as I respond there, Frontier has the hottest theme song out of the entire franchise. I will fight people in the street over that.
And you know who else people in Washington really, really like? Meth. So I'm not saying there's any correlation between the two, but there's a lot of people in Washington that like poor decisions. So.
Well, speaking of poor decisions, if you have $200, you can get yourself one of these fancy Digivices we were just showing off on screen.
God, those Digivices are so... Remember the Digivices when they originally came out, how so jank they were? And this was around the time when Tamagotchi was still big, and I remember...
It was basically a Tamagotchi on steroids. That's all it really was.
Did you have like the Pikachu Tamagotchis back in the day?
Yep.
Yeah,
the one you walk and he did more stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I had the Pikachu Pokemon bag, for the Game Boy Color, and I had one of the Pikachu Tamagotchis to go on it, and I would just carry it with me to school. Oh God, I feel so old.
Kid that just happened to have like every single Japanese holographic card that you couldn't buy from like the stores and whatnot. So he thought he was so much special than everyone else. So of course the jealous kids tried to rob those kids all the time, and then fights would break out. And then it was like, this thing's getting a little too crazy now. It's like people are bringing Game Boys to school and getting fights over Japanese cards. It's like we should probably curb this up just a little bit.
Well, like I said, I remember the time that they had the kids' metal component to weight it to properly balance the thing. And I remember holding that in my hand and I'm like, this must be like what a brass knuckle is made out of. This is dense.
You know what? I just realized, because we're talking about 25th anniversaries, this year is the 25th anniversary of Yu-Gi-Oh! As well for the card game. And that was last month, but I just remembered that.
Right, everything happened.
All these, like I say, literally, because what happened was that it's usually one show blows up and then everyone tries to, I guess, emulate that show's success. We talked about this with like Power Rangers. When Power Rangers was big, everyone needed their own like Power Rangers sub type of spinoff, and that's why you got like Beetleborgs and VR Troopers and Superhero Samurai and all these other shows that were trying to mimic that Power Ranger success. And then of course when Pokemon got like really big, like here in the United States, all of a sudden they'll say, hey, let's bring all these other shows from Japan and see which one which one of these shows can blow up. So you got like Digimon and Yu-Gi-Oh and Monster Ranchers and like all this other like shows that just exploded out of Japan. Yeah, there's a throwback for you.
Monster Rancher.
Yeah, that's so old. Oh my god! And and Metabots and Zatch Bell is a whole different story. But Zatch Bell, there's licensing issues with that because Shigakaka and Makoto, it did not go down very well. No, there was some accusations about theft and all of that. So yeah, Viz can't technically print any more issues of Zatch Bell. I think Kodansha technically has the rights to it, if I remember correctly, but Makoto has their own publishing house now. So if Makoto wants to release it, they can in the US, they can. But I really want to gatekeep the hell out of Zatch Bell too, because it's that good. Man, Zatch Bell 2 was so good. Because we just got the return of Brago. Oh my god, Brago is so amazing. He is so swole now. He's not the little psycho demon from the original Zatch Bell. No, he is roided up or something.
I haven't a clue what's going on here, but I'll act like I do.
HGH.
I know.
So what we have here though is we have like what the special editions for the 25th anniversary look like. So as you can see, the Digivices are on display, but also Paladinmon is getting I think that's Paladinmon. Well, anyway, you could correct me if I'm wrong very violently if you like. But you got the little statues going on here too. But I want to point out the graphics for the handheld there, the little Digivice thing, are on display down in the corner here, and they're in color. This is not a black and white display. This is a full color LCD, sound effects, music. I keep gushing over this stuff because it's what I wanted it to be when I was a kid. Right, that's not Paladin mode. That's right. It's not. I don't remember that one. That was Vmon and Stingmon combined.
Yeah, that was their fusion.
It was
Paildramon. Yeah,
Paildramon.
Paildramon or whatever. Paildramon. Yeah, something like that. He had the Desperado blasters. That's what I remember about him. He had guns on his hips, built into his hips.
Hips.
Yeah, the DNA Digimon form of it's technically Stingmon and XVmon, but
right.
I just love how season 2 just absolutely dropped the ball on like every single other person's like DNA evolution or ultimate evolution. It's like,
they didn't matter.
Are we ever gonna get mega levels for any of the season 1 guys? Nope. Are we ever gonna get DNA evolutions for anybody else? Nope, because only Kid and Davis matter. Get effed.
Only blue and orange matter. You know that.
They technically did. No, the other ones had DNA Digivolutions as well, but they didn't have like the.
They had them officially, but it was just never on the show.
Right. That's the point.
It was rare. It wasn't as often, and they didn't have as significant as a role. Like with the world, that world tour arc, man, that was such wasted potential. Could have done so much more with it.
Well, I do want to let you guys know that the Digimon movies are available on YouTube right now for free. I don't know about the American one, but the Digimon Tri movies are available on YouTube. I noticed that today when I was just looking up stuff about what was going on with the franchise. I just want to bring that up because it's just so nostalgic to see exactly what Jacob was talking about, that these are the only two that matter.
Yep. Those two, and then it was like Kid and Davis in season 2. It's like all the other kids. It's like, you guys aren't important enough to the plot. Like, you guys will get a mega level in 16 years with Digimon Tree, and then like, otherwise get a.
Well, that's why Tamers is so good, because all of them got mega forms.
And that's. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, yeah, they all got him, but it's like I say, it wasn't until 16 years later they put him in a live action.
No, I'm talking about Tamers. All of them got megaforms.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, then again, it was only like 3 of them, so it's like they didn't have to, you know.
Well, technically 4 if you want to include Justimon, but
Nobody cares about Rio. I mean,
nobody cares about Rio. Well, Rika might, but she is
Well, that's the
Thunder.
point.
Rio is such a jabroni.
It's true. He's just there to make sure that nobody thinks Rika is lesbian. That's all he's there to do.
Rio is like the Digimon equivalent of like Poochie the dog. It's like he was there, but like nobody
Yep.
really. Yes.
Thanks for being here, Rio. We appreciate it. But you've got these two, and this is these Digimon kind of underlies what Japan suffers with when they get into pro tag territory with ongoing series. As we mentioned with these two right here, they're the only ones that seem to matter in the entire franchise because after all these years, they get like mega evolutions now. Like we don't even know what to call these evolutions anymore. They're so high. So, but this is another thing that like Super Sentai suffers with. You get like the Core 5, Red and Blue will have a good relationship. Then the Sixth Ranger shows up and it's like, screw the other 4. These 2 are going to do everything together now. And you guys are just there for fodder. That's all. You're there to get into trouble so the other 2 have something to do. And that's Japan seems to suffer from this is that they pick out characters they want to really like hammer their marketing on. And that becomes the entire franchise, unfortunately. And
Yeah, Dragon Ball
here we
had
are.
this. Dragon Ball has this issue with Vegeta and Goku.
Yep. Yeah, and I you can think about passing the baton to Gohan, but we found out what happened when Toriyama tried to do that after the Cell games. The corporate said, "Yeah, that's cute. Nope. How's Goku coming back to life this time?" He had it all figured out of how Gohan was supposed to take over, and the corporation was like, "Nope,
But
that's
this
cute."
kind of feels kind of different though, because you have the full universe in this time around, where you have Gohan just protecting Earth, and then Goku and Vegeta could travel like throughout Universe 7 or the multiverse. So it doesn't feel as weird, or you don't feel it. I feel like Toriyama has it so like this time marketing can't screw around with Gohan, if that makes sense.
Well, I guess. Like I said, with him, it feels like you were mentioning earlier, kind of this untapped potential of Gohan. It's like, it does not feel like we've been waiting for this for like 30 years and we still haven't quite got there yet.
The
Even
better
with
part
Beast,
of 30 years.
Yeah, more actually, yeah.
well, even with Beast, I mean that's what Beast is kind of supposed to be.
The trouble with
Supposed
it,
to.
though, is that Beast feels an awful lot like it's just like, well, everybody else is like super powerful now. Goku and Vegeta are gods. Let's make Piccolo High C orange, and Gohan's rage transforms him into a beast. That's what we'll call it. We'll call it Beast Mode. And I don't know. I guess I have the same feelings about Beast as I do about oh god, I forgot her name now. What's this Digimon's name?
Oh, I think it's Makomon, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, Mako. Sorry, I knew it started with an M.
That was the one that she was the thing that ruined Digimon Tri for me.
No, the actual girl she was attached to ruined it. Because I think this is why everyone hated Tree so much. It's because of her story arc and the girl story arc. What's her name? Like May or whatever her name was. Like they were just absolutely terrible characters that ruined the entire flow of the whole series. Like the first episode, first episode of Tree was actually pretty good and a lot of people liked it. Then it was like immediately afterwards, it took like a downward spiral and somehow left us with more unsolved questions and unsolved answers to the questions that we had going into it. It was like, oh, here's our reunion special, and then now it's like, wait, so what happened to all the season 2 kids, and why was Kid the Digimon Emperor but not really the Digimon Emperor, and we're just not gonna like include why he was evil the entire time and no one pretended like he existed for a while. Why is Jinai evil? It's like, why are all these questions exist now? And then that was kind of Digimon Tree in a nutshell. And then they were like, fuck you, we're never answering any of this stuff.
Yep. And they still didn't solve any of the shipping or anything like that. They were just like, do you want to see Omnimon kill something? Boy, have we got a deal for you.
Hey, we got a new mode for Omnimon, guys. Don't you guys love Omnimon? Because don't you guys remember the Digimon movie from 1999? Don't you guys love that?
You run around, I run around. We're all gonna
Hey,
give it a rest.
Hey, guys, aren't you big fans of Angela Anaconda? Aren't you? Don't you love that?
You want to
God,
see
not that.
Angela
Oh my
Mon
God.
again?
Ugh.
Angela Mon! Digivolve! So painful.
What a
Like,
worst.
even as
I'll
a
never
child, you were
forgive
just
them.
even as a child, you were just embarrassed.
Yeah, you were. You were just like, I know these two things exist and they should have nothing to do with each other. Why are they here? What are they doing? It's like if you had Sesame Street and no, better yet, if you had SpongeBob and Dragon Ball Z team up. Like if the episode of Kung Fu was like a legit Dragon Ball Z episode where SpongeBob and Goku were fighting at the bottom of the ocean and nobody told us why Goku could breathe underwater.
I mean, oh, that was just bad. I mean, give him, I guess, credit or balls or however you want to like portray
Balls,
it here.
that's
It's
what it
like
takes. Yeah.
the Digimon movie from like was 99 or 2000, one of those 2 years where it was like, let's take 3 entirely completely unrelated Digimon movies and mesh them together and fool the audience into thinking that somehow they're all based on the exact same storyline.
Yeah, Angemon, no, you'd think that. You see, they have all these angel Digimon they've given us over the years, and yet they can't bring themselves to leave Omnimon the hell alone.
That was the best part, is like in the third part of that movie where it's like where Kari and TK's Digimon go to Mega just completely out of nowhere, even though it never happened in the complete history of the show. And then they have their Mega forms for like all of 10 seconds, and then it's only to give was it Davis and what's this stupid kid's name, Willis, a new Digi egg that they can use. So it was like, you guys went Mega, why would you go to Mega just to unleash Digi eggs and give like it makes no sense.
Does it make it more sense than Digimon Ghost?
No.
The Digimon Ghost game, that was an abomination. I mean, and I was watching the show with Spencer last year, and like every episode, once you get to about like, you know, the first 10, 15 episodes, you think, okay, these are all filler episodes because it's kind of like establishing like what the pace of the show is going to be. And next thing you know, you're at episode like 42 and you realize, okay, this whole season has been nothing but filler. Like, are we actually like building up to something? Then you fast forward to episode 60 and it's still the same thing. And then they have the audacity to try to like pull this plot out of their butt in the last 2 episodes that make it seem like all of these episodes you've been watching up to this point actually meant something, and it actually didn't, like, at all. So that the Digimon Ghost game is probably the most filler Digimon series to have ever existed.
Well, at least the next Digimon series coming out is going to have Impmon as the main Digimon. I'm kind of looking forward to that.
Yeah. Well, that's the one thing too. It's like, you know, with all of these like Digimon series, like they've tried to do like remakes and reboots and sequels to, it's like you got Tamers, but I mean, Tamers was so good. There's really no way you can go about doing a Tamers sequel and leave it in a better note that they left it with that series. So it's like, it's kind of almost untouchable in that sense. And then Adventures has been pretty much done to death at this point. I mean, you could try to do like a Frontier reboot and try to get
that needs a reboot. If any series needs a reboot, it is Frontier.
Yeah, he tried to get back into good grade. I mean, people hate Frontier anyway, so I mean, you're playing with house money as far as that concept goes. And then, to me, the most underrated series of Digimon that exists is Savers. Like, Savers kind of came and went, and like everyone completely forgot about it. I thought it was decent up to a point. I mean, I like the style of where they were going. They tried to kind of mix elements of both Tamer and Adventurers in there, a kind of a more mature theme, which I think is the only Digimon series that isn't focused on just like little kids. So I mean, I like the idea that they had there. I didn't think it was that bad.
Well, and you know, after 25 years, they've kind of exploited the heck out of this. And truthfully, I think the biggest problem they have with the entire franchise as a whole is the fact that they want to be Pokemon. They want to be Pokemon really, really, really bad, and that's killing them.
But that's the problem. It's like Pokemon had like a super popular trading game and video game series that carried its popularity. Like, of course, the show was big too, but it was really those trading cards and those Game Boy games that really made it as hot as it really was. And Digimon didn't have any of that. Like, they had a trading card game, but it was never to the level of Pokemon. And even like the video games didn't really catch on because they went for like the RPG style rather than the what Pokemon was doing. So it never truly clicked. The only thing that you could say they kind of had as an advantage was that the storytelling in their television show versus Pokemon show was a little bit better, especially compared to like, you know, Savers and Tamers and a few others. So they had better storytelling with the actual animated series, but that was pretty much the only advantage that they had.
Yeah, I tell people constantly that Digimon is the way better executed story. The first 2 seasons tell a really great story, very well done. Tamers is very well done, in my opinion. Frontier falls off, but I you know, they could try it again. I just don't dig the idea of humans becoming Digimon. It doesn't feel Digimon.
It's that, and then it's the fact that they really just dropped the ball on the whole Lucymon angle towards like the second half. It was like they could have had something really good there, but the setup never met where they were trying to get to the execution point. It just never caught up with each other.
Yeah, they wasted Lucymon. They did. I was so mad because Lucymon is such a cool Digimon and you wasted him.
Well, you know, you've got Devilman Crybaby out now for them to take some inspiration from. Maybe. But
Maybe, but probably not.
Also, Digimon Adventure 2, like, that freaking ending with my bringing back my Yotusmon really just frustrated the hell out of me as the final villain. Just
you're muted.
Why? You had Myotismon and Venom Myotismon in Adventure 1, and that should have been it. No more Myotismon.
That's like, let's just pull Myotismon out of our butt for the last like 2 episodes of this entire. I mean, season 2, like for me, season 2 is still like the worst because there's actual emotional investment into it versus like what Frontier did. But they left so many plot holes that just was completely like didn't even bother to like try to answer them. It was like they there had to have been some kind of like creative difference or creative change like towards those last few episodes because they made it seem like they were building up for like Daemon to be the final boss in the series, and then they just completely dropped the ball on him. He never made it back towards the end. You had the whole thing with like the Dark Ocean that was teased. They even like teased one of the big Digimons like, oh no, who's this big son of a bitch? Oh, I guess we'll never figure it out. And
never.
Okay. And then the whole thing with the world tour went flat. And then, like I said, the last like 2 or 3 episodes, like, hey, let's bring Myotis back. Turns out we didn't actually kill him. And he just stood around for 4 years to possess some dude who I guess we care about now.
Who has a really creepy voice, but is just a regular guy.
Yeah.
Just has a really creepy voice for some reason.
Paimon has to be one of the best Digimon villains. I love him.
Yeah.
And I love that, like, the timing of him was so perfect because remember, this is probably, I think he was out around like, or coming off the heels of like Frieza. So it's like, oh, it was just so perfect.
And then in the context of like the series, it made sense because, like I said, they had spent all that time in the real world, and I completely forgot that. Oh yeah, like a few like days in the real world, it's like years and years in the digital world. So essentially, we just let the digital world completely unattended and unprotected for several years, and God knows what happened over there during that time period. It's like, oops,
a gay clown happened.
a gay clown, a wooden puppet, a giant Godzilla mecha machine monster, and then like a sea lizard just took over the entire world while we were gone for several years.
Yep. As it happens, you know, you leave the front door unlocked and all of a sudden you have a giant sea monster in your bathtub. So, you know, especially if you live in Florida.
Oh God, I should have known you were gonna do that. You were gonna make that joke.
So Myotismon was a very interesting villain in season 1. A very interesting villain.
Well, yeah.
He gave me Trey's Kush Renata vibes, and I did not expect that in like Digimon, who was like Fox Kids level, you know? So when I got like that Trey's Kush Renata, I'll take over the world for the betterment of all of us kind of attitude out of him. I was like, whoa, you're just not obligatorily evil. You have like a teensy weensy bit of a like motivation there. Look at you. You and your motivation. And this shocked me because again, like immediately after this, the villains just dropped right off back into the old. I'm twisting my mustache next to this damsel I'm tied to the railroad tracks, and you can't stop me, Dudley Do Right. You know,
Well, like,
So somebody in the chat said that they had to bring Myotismon back because they had to cut Dagomon as the villain. So Dagomon was the Digimon that they had teased like halfway in season 2, and then just completely dropped that angle. And then I that was one thing that I was like, okay, well, where did this go? They didn't even bother to solve it. Then, like I said, towards the later part of that, towards the end of the World Tour, they also teased Daemon as a villain, and then neither one of them played any role whatsoever in the finish of the series. So it was like, what was even the point of teasing those guys when you did absolutely nothing with them?
yeah, this is the tease that Jacob's talking about right here.
Yeah.
This is from the show. That was actually there. We were supposed to get Digimon Cthulhu. And no. They were just like, nah. Horrors from the deepest parts of space aren't going to work for Digimon. That's too far for kids, you know?
Usually you would like figure that out, I don't know, like before
Yeah,
you put him
before
on like
you-
serious, before you
Animate him. Yeah, before you animate him. Yeah, usually.
before you
but-
put him into the show, and then be like, I don't think we're gonna go in this direction. But it's like, but we already like showed him like on the show. People are expecting him to show up at some point. It's like, we'll give it to him.
No, never. It's not going to happen. What's my Otismon up to? Oh, he's just been hanging out in our butts for 4 years. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
He's just been in the water apparently for several years.
And then this happened.
Yeah.
I remember this. This was the worst payoff ever.
Yeah. So Daemon, who's like one of the 7 demon lords, so he's like right up there with like Lucymon. It's like one of the big bad villains in the entire Digimon world. Like
You
they were
should be
teasing.
concerned.
They exactly like, so they were teasing that this guy was gonna play like a major role in the last few episodes, and then they just completely blow him off by it's like, oh, we're sending him back to where he came from, and you're never gonna see him again.
Right. And not only that, you're never going to see him again. You're also never going to feel his influence again.
No.
He got his butt paddled and decided to go home and knit socks. That was that.
Like literally, somebody threw a shoe at him. He's like, yeah, I'm out of here. I'm not doing this anymore.
I didn't sign up for this.
Yeah.
Lucymon didn't tell me I was going to get shoes thrown at me.
Exactly.
You
Oh,
wait till the
man.
X antibody shows up. You'll all learn then.
Oh yeah, right. The X antibody.
So,
that's a
yeah,
whole
so how
other
about
can of
that?
worms.
I hated that. I don't know. That was the dumbest plot device they've ever introduced just to
It's like,
redesign.
how do we
most of-
turn Digimon into Dragon Ball Z? Oh, I got it. X antibody.
Let's just add more. Let's just add more hard angles to everything.
Yeah, let's just make all of our Digimon just like more sharper edges, like all over their bodies, and be like, oh, this is their X form.
Right. We turned down the contouring on the 3D rendering machine, and now everything looks like a Gundam.
oh my god.
I'm trying to find a good picture of it, guys. We're not trying to debate you. I'm trying to show you something that's actually high quality, but as usual, anything related to Digimon just does not come across the pond.
Nope, not
So-
at all.
Here we go. Yeah, so here's this. Here's War Greymon and X Antibody, and you'll notice immediately there's no soft edges on this bro. Like he
No.
is all like meat cleaving angles.
They just turned him into like Mecha Godzilla, essentially.
Yeah. They're just like, so what if we just turned off the soft edges on War Greymon? They're like, hey, he looks so much cooler. Let's run with this.
It
Yeah.
does look kind of cool, I'm not gonna lie.
It'd be like,
So much more like metal.
this looks more edgy for the kids. The kids will definitely gravitate towards this, and it's like, okay,
They
well,
will
we'll see how.
gravitate. No, they're not gonna gravitate towards Yu-Gi-Oh. No, they're not gonna gravitate towards Pokemon. They're gonna gravitate towards King Edgy.
Mhm. By the way,
And it
just real quick, a quick little sidebar. Like, I finally went back and watched like the last season of Yu-Gi-Oh, because I think I gave up on Yu-Gi-Oh somewhere like around 2003, 2004 when I thought the series was done. I think it was right after the whole like Malik angle and that whole era. So I gave up on the show, stopped watching it, didn't realize that like 3 years later, like they had made Pakura the final villain.
Oh
And I
my
was
god,
like,
that
wait,
was
wait.
amazing.
And I was like, wait, when did this whole thing happen? So I only just now watched it like 15 years after it already debuted for like 3 years. So
Oh my god, the final arc of Yu-Gi-Oh is so good.
Yeah,
It's actually
go
better than
ahead.
I can't believe I'm saying it, but it's actually better than the manga, and even the mangaka said it too, because they expand on like Kisara and Kaiba's connection to the Blue Eyes, and oh god, it's just good. And Bakura is an amazing villain.
Yeah.
I just don't like how 4Kids censored the Dark One.
Well, I mean, that's just the way that it was. I mean, talk about censorship. Remember in Sabers when they introduced what was it, Rosemon, and they had to do a lot of covering up for her figure in that episode. That they cut out like her entire animation style got like cut short because it's like, yeah, this is way too much for kids. It's like she's basically like carrying G cups over here. It's like we can't show that on regular TV. And then the other one here, VT brought it up here. Was it Cross Wars? Was that one Digimon series that I think mostly a lot of people just like memory hold for some weird reason. Like I don't even like remember like what was the plot in that one. I just remember at some point they brought back a whole bunch of kids from like every Digimon universe for like their final fight.
Yeah, it was like an Avengers, Endgame.
The Digimon
battle.
multiverse.
Yeah. G Jacob, I wonder why they banned Rosemon. I wonder.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder why they were.
I wonder what was their motivation for doing so. Like,
yeah, it's can't tell. There's no immediate tip off here of why the censors would be concerned with this. I'm sorry, I'm trying to stall while I get this other one pulled up because these are microscopic, by the way. These I again, like if you try to find anything image wise on Google for Digimon, there's just a complete shutout on HD images that aren't related to statues. But yeah, I wonder why they had trouble with Rosemon coming over here. But
yeah, the broadcast censors, man. But now it's different because it's streaming. They can get away with it. But then you're gonna have the people. Then you're gonna have the idiots on Twitter, the Zoomers on Twitter, being like, "Oh, she's over sexualized." It's like,
of course,
it's a Digimon. Like,
I mean, to a degree, I get what they're talking about. I don't want it in children's media, but if they were to say like this Digimon series is for the adult fans, now you're going to get anything like Game of Thronesy in it. You know what I mean? But that would justify things like this. Like this is a little overboard for a Saturday morning cartoon, in my opinion. A little overboard.
I sent you her animation in Sabers. I'm not sure if we can play it on here, but yeah, her animation in Sabers is way worse than that. Like way worse.
We saw big titties like that in like oh god, what series was I thinking of for a second? I know we've seen it like in a kids anime, but I just can't remember which one off the top of my head.
I mean, there's probably numerous ones I can think of off the top.
Bleach is one. Bleach wasn't kids though. Bleach wasn't for kids. If that one was
Pokemon.
Pokemon might actually be one of them.
Where did you send it to me?
Oh, it's in the private chat.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't looking. Yeah. Oh yeah, this. Okay. Okay, so it goes from this cute little flower thing. Okay, this is one of my problems with how the Japanese do children's entertainment. Okay,
yeah,
they'll start you off with this really cute thing, this adorable little flower thing.
This
looks
little
like it's
ice cream, this little ice cream flower thing for no reason whatsoever just turns into Jessica Rabbit.
Yeah. Yeah, there it is, right there. There's that, and she's okay. She's like oiled up. All right.
Yeah, it gets worse.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Okay. Yeah, frog with a gun. Yep, that's how it cuts out. You bet.
So that's why Mimi never got her mega level in Adventures. That's the exact reason why. It never
Probably.
Now we know. But that again, like I'm not surprised. Rosemon is one of those ones where like the original creators, the animators, were clearly missing their wives when they came up with those characters.
When they were in their suicide pods making this game.
Yeah, well, like the Japanese have a different culture than we do.
Well, remember the fight between Lady Devamon and Anjouamon? That was a fight.
Oh yeah, where they were just like bitch slapping each other for like minutes on end.
That fight got censored too. Let's be real.
Yep.
And this is DZ3 points out it is just me, but I would had preferred Lalamon have a different mega, maybe Lotsumon. And this is one of those things is that like when Anjouamon showed up in the show, I was like, I don't know if my parents are gonna let me watch this show anymore. Because she's like missing a pant leg and her belly is exposed, and those are some booba on that gal. And I was like, I don't think I can watch this anymore.
Now that I look back at it, there was a lot of things in Sabers that got cut out on the American release for some of the obvious reasons there.
Right. I mean, and again, like it's not that Japanese are insidious and they're trying to like brainwash. Maybe they are because of the birth rates, but when they did this stuff originally, it wasn't insidious. It wasn't meant to be like anything derogatory. It was just they were like, "Oh, beautiful women doing beautiful things." All right, let's put that in there.
At least when they were subverting their culture, with boobs. So I mean, at least it was understandable.
It's true. Boobs that belong to birthing people and no one else, right? So, but that's
they're so beautiful, Anjouamon and Lady Devamon.
Right.
Digimon. Oh my god. I love them. They're amazing. Their fight was just I wish their fight wouldn't have been censored as much as it was, but
okay,
again,
so I've had a long storied beef with TK and Kari because I absolutely despise them like as characters. Like even from the first season and it carried on to like 02 like as well, where they got even douchier than they were in the first one because they were like a little bit older now. So it's like I've always liked like as far as like 02 characters go, I've always liked Davis far more than I like those other two chuckle nerds.
Well, and you're justified because they're pretty blank. One of the biggest problems with those two characters is that they're absolutely empty. They're just vessels for, oh, now we have to say it's our turn to save the day in this part of the episode before Ty and Matt get here and fix everything. And that's basically all their purpose is.
We have
to stall.
We have 8 Digidestins, but only 2 of them really matter at the end of the day. I mean, the other ones are just kind of here.
Well, hold on. To be fair, Anjouamon and Magna Anjouamon actually kind of saved the day. Anjouamon took out Devimon, and Magna Anjouamon took out Piedmon.
That was the other weird thing with like the power levels in like in Digimon, because it was always Anjouamon was like on the same level as like Digimon once like level above him. So it's like Magna Anjouamon, who was an ultimate, can always go up against Megas, and Anjouamon can always go up against like ultimates. They always like made the point to seem like, yeah, by the way, TK's Digimon is like way stronger than everybody else's, even though
it's like OP.
But
yeah, exactly.
With a holy Digimon though, like a divine Digimon. So it's like I kind of, especially like someone.
But they didn't do that with.
I kind of understand it.
But they didn't do that with Anjouamon though. It was only
so it kind of makes them a little sexist in that regard. But Anjouamon,
Japan being sexist? Oh no,
no.
But Anjouamon was an ultimate, so.
It's true. It's true. And the other thing, remember that time that she transformed into a cat with boobs?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I hated those Digivolutions so much.
The armored Digivolutions are just like the absolute worst. Like I don't know who thought that
Flame looked really cool.
Flame did look awesome.
Even he was like he was like second tier to the other one, the Ragemon one. The Ragemon design was way better than Flame.
That's true. Yeah, again, I mean, we're dealing with like a franchise that kind of ran out of ideas after the first 50 episodes. And it really should have been an OVA. That's probably what it should have been. It should have been like some little 4-mini movie thing, and that probably would have saved it. But
I do like Ken though. I mean, Ken I think is an interesting character.
To a degree, but he seems like the franchise needed a villain, so they invented one.
Yeah, then they tried to give him like a redemption arc like halfway during the season. I was like, oh, well, the only reason why he was evil because his brother went missing and died probably, depending on which translation that you get in the series. So it's like it was understandable why he was kind of a dick after a while. Then it was like, well, they needed him to essentially join Davis because they needed that Imperial Dramon at some certain point. So it's like, yeah, you got to turn this guy babyface at some point here, guys.
But there was also the crest too, which need to watch the other Digimon movie, Digimon 2, the beginning, to see where that fits in. Because that's why I was mad at Try, because when they put the O2 kids on the sideline, it's like, dude, at least bring Ken. He has a crest. You kind of need that.
But by the way, I'm pretty sure that, like, they memory hold this whole thing, because I remember, like, way back in the day, like when they did the Golden Digi Egg angle and like Davis character turned into Magnamon. I'm pretty positive that Magnamon was only a champion at the time they introduced him, and somehow throughout the course of like a few years later, they kind of memory holds. It's like, oh no, he's a Mega now. But it's like, I specifically remember like the old Digimon cards that had him at the champion level before they met that retcon. Is that just me?
I don't know about the champion level, but he was not capable of taking on a mega level. The only purpose of Magnamon was to wipe out Chimeramon and Bad Rabbit Digimon.
Yeah, I think what happened was that they realized after a point, it was like, well, this guy's gonna be like a Royal Knight. It doesn't make any sense to have one champion Royal Knight in a room full of Mega. So it's just like up him up to Mega level 2. So he bypassed
Water Boy.
Exactly. It's just like, well, we're gonna up him up 2 levels. Then hopefully nobody notices, because no, we already did several movies with him, and that'll be embarrassing.
Yeah, Buddy Smith says here, you also had Ty play the Wonder Swan game to explain what was going on with Ken's brother. Yep. A lot of just really bizarre choices, like Myotismon just apparently having his way with human women.
Well,
so that happened in front of children.
Well, no, that's understandable because he's kind of based off of Dracula. So I mean, it does kind of make sense.
Spooky.
Even in the 90s, there were nothing but a bunch of harlots made for the streets. And then, so it was funny too, because I think it was around like the late portion of the 2000s that Digimon somehow remembered that it was like, hey, all these past series that we did, there was a bunch of movies that they did during that time period that we never actually did dubs for. So why don't we go back and actually like dub some of these movies? So it's like several years after both Adventures and Tamers ended, they went back and actually dubbed the movies, like the Tamer movies, and then like the final Adventure 2 movie that they just never bothered to like go around. So I think it was like Jet X at the time, because that's what was, when Disney owned the rights to it. They had did those, and then I think it was the voice actor for Ty, for some weird reason, like didn't show up to do the Ty for it was the Diabolomon Strikes Back one, when they brought back Diaboromon. And for some reason they couldn't get Ty's voice actor, the American voice actor, to do that one, so they got like some weird like American actor to like stand in for him, and it was like so jarring because it was like no explanation to like why they couldn't just bring back the original actor. But I guess it was some kind of like pay dispute or something along those lines, and they decided, no, we're just gonna go ahead and do this anyway. And then they went back and I think it was like 3. Was it 3? I think it was 3 Tamer movies that they went back and dubbed after the fact too.
Wow.
It's just, and now with Discotech is which I think is weird that Discotech is doing this for the Digimon movies. They're only doing and probably it's for the best now that I think about it. They're only bringing the censored versions of Digimon for US release, and I'm just like, and people are mad that you're not getting the sub with it either for the ones that I remember seeing. It's like, why would you just release the sub? Like, that's what people want. People want a release that has both the sub and the dub. And if you're going to do a dub, do an uncensored version. But after what happened with Lovely Complex, I would not want them touching any dub ever again. No way.
No.
That was so ugly what they did to that dub.
I think that was another reason why they didn't do the Tamer, because one of the Tamer movies starts off with Onion, right? Who's obviously a major character in the previous series, but the whole setup was that Adventures in Tamers has like no correlation. They're completely different universes, but they just introduced Omnimon at the very beginning of like the film. So it's like, who's this like Omnimon? He's supposed to be just completely different from the other ones. I don't think they ever went into any real detail about how that whole crossover happened. And then, like I said, that some of those movies just got completely memory hold after the fact.
Well, speaking of what's could be done horrible, we do have a little bit of breaking news here. It happened just a little bit about an hour ago. It was brought to my attention here.
Kentucky lost, so everyone's bracket is completely busted. It's already over.
Oh yeah, the Pokemon situation. Yeah, I
So,
saw that this morning.
Pokemon in the US is looking to hire a director of diversity, equity, and inclusion and social responsibility in Washington state. That's right. If you thought Pokemon Scarlet and Violet were awful, the next installment is going to be far worse. Yep,
That's exactly what I need. Overweight black Pokemon trainers in wheelchairs. That's exactly what we all been
Well,
waiting
no,
for
the
30 years.
Pokemon have to be disabled now. You're
Yeah.
gonna have Pikachu in a wheelchair, and you know.
Electabuzz is gonna have the diabetes.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and you have like an artistic Squirtle, but it'd be hard to tell. So I don't hate Squirtle. He's the first one I thought of. Okay, I don't hate Squirtle. All right,
Full disclosure. I just wanna let you guys know.
don't at me. I
Yeah.
don't hate Squirtle. That's just the first one I thought of. What about
Dude, what's your beef with Squirtle, bro? What are
Oh,
you,
I
a
do wanna
Bulbasaur guy?
Forget. But this isn't the first time I've seen a job like this. I've seen this for Webtoon. Webtoon is
Yes.
hiring. Webtoon hired something similar to this, but Webtoon it's a lot more understandable because they took in Marvel and DC. So yeah, here I don't understand it. Yeah, I know Bellevue. Nintendo is in Bellevue, Washington. So for those of you that are wondering why Bellevue, Washington, Nintendo's American location is in Bellevue.
Mhm.
And so is Microsoft too. And I think PlayStation there as well. I don't remember PlayStation there, but I know Microsoft and Nintendo are there. But
Yep. Well, and this is what we're looking at. This is not a Japan related job. This is a American based Pokemon subsidiary that handles the licensing and marketing of the Pokemon trading card game, anime, home entertainment, yada yada yada, outside of Asia, particularly for North America. So this is not someone who's being sanctioned by the Japanese even. This is once again like the Lovely Complex dub and all the crazy. You heard about the AI stuff that's taking over the dub situation. Excuse me, the sub situation. My apologies. You heard about AI taking over that. This is the kind of stuff that caused that. This person is being particularly hired to come in and make sure that Pokemon is irreconcilably different than how it is when it leaves Japan. The exact opposite of what makes things work right now. Congratulations.
I mean, we had this conversation like a few weeks ago too, where it's like I think these activists realize that they can't just take over the Japanese industries the way they've done here in America. So I think what they've done is that they've somehow convinced the developers in Japan that these diversity, inclusion, and blah 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 initiatives is what the American audiences want. And it's like, hey, if you want to keep your bread and butter here in the Western world, then this is what you're gonna have to do because you have to reflect the Western sensibilities. So they're essentially trying to trick them into thinking that no, this is exactly what the Americans want, and you guys should start doing this. So it's like, I guess this is what they're asking for. They're not realizing that the Americans are by and large rejecting this as a result. But I don't know how much money are these Japanese companies going to have to lose before they realize that this isn't going to work either.
well, they are losing a lot of money. I mean, look at what's happening with Square Enix in particular. I've heard. I mean, look at Japanese game sales. Since Square Enix and Capcom, that's the one I was thinking of. Capcom, Sega, and Square Enix in particular. Sales have gone down so much over there since they let Western gaming consultants into the industry. There's some that have stood up to him, like Yoko Taro, the developer of Nier, the head of Nier. They're like, no. And then there's oh my god, there's the head of the creator of Bayonetta stood up and said no, and now he's gone. So Bayonetta, if it ever comes back, it's going to be a completely different game. But there was another one too that I just can't remember that stood up. Oh, the creator of Chainsaw, Lollipop Chainsaw. They said they're saying no too. They're saying that they're going to keep Chainsaw Lollipop the exact same game that it was when it originally came out. They are not
Wow.
censoring it.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, they've been coming. The developer has been coming, or the creator has been coming out on Twitter, and they said straight up they're making sure that it is staying the same exact way. No, well, obviously updating the graphics, duh, but it's going to be the same game. They're not censoring it, and they've been showing images and stuff too.
In other words, never go full Sega.
Never go full Sega or never go full Square Enix either.
Well, look at this right here, right? Coming soon. The new symbol of trans and non-binary people. Ditto!
I mean,
Blah.
Ditto was always the original transgender, wasn't he? Right?
Yeah, that's
Well,
true.
technically.
Well, from that disappointing news to this disappointing news, there's been another death in the Japanese manga creator community.
Yeah. She was the character designer for the Tales of series, and it turns out I didn't realize how much influence she had on a lot of manga series and anime series, but it turns out that a lot of the more like softer characters that you see, like series like Chihaya Furu, they said that they based their art style from her character designs, Inamada's character designs. We don't know how she passed. They said it was sudden. It was a sudden passing. She was 63, and it's crazy because this makes like the third death of a Japanese, voice actor for Taruko's case, but member of the Japanese entertainment industry that's in their 60s, like this month. It's really, and there's, well, Taruko and Toriyama, it's a little different because we know that there is an underlying condition. Taruko, somewhat, we know, because they were in the hospital since January, so we know something was going on. But here, we don't know. We have no clue what happened.
And maybe we
Well,
never
I mean,
will.
maybe I was just gonna say maybe it's just one of the many instances of a sudden death that we've just been experiencing all over the world here over the last like several years, and it's weird how this keeps increasing over the last. I wonder what happened over the last couple of years that could have possibly had led to this, or could have contributed to this certain death craze. But we'll probably never know.
Well, the thing is with Japanese, when Japan, there's a lot of overwork. And a lot of overwork, and especially with like mangaka, for example, like we saw with Toriyama, and I think someone was telling me Horikoshi does this too. There's a lot of heavy smoking because of it. So there is that to take into account. I don't know what was going on with Inamada. I know they recently did an art exhibition like last month. And I think it was her sister that posted this note. They were saying that they were just working on some drafts too. It's really heartbreaking, and it's just incredible to see how much influence a character designer for the Tales of series had on so many creators. I never would have thought that at all. I don't think any of us did. And it's the same thing with Toriyama and with Dr. Slump. I didn't realize how influential Dr. Slump was in Japan.
Absolutely.
Until, Toriyama's passing. And then I see all these artists and all these people saying how Arale inspired them to, wear glasses and not feel so self-conscious about it. But yeah, it's incredible, isn't it? Like,
again, from one person who has passed away to a person who does not want to pass away. We're over here with Oda, who's taking potentially 3 weeks off, maybe more, depending on how he feels.
Well, yeah, Oda's saying that doesn't have to do with Toriyama's death. It's just a coincidence. But based off of the obituary on like how Toriyama's death really hit him and affected him, part of me thinks it's still kind of playing a factor into it, but he says this was a schedule break to figure out what he is going to do with and figure out what the One Piece is at this point.
What? He doesn't. Oh no.
That's what it said in the
Oh,
official
no.
translation. It said in the official translation. Hold on, let me pull it up.
That he doesn't know what one after all these presidents have died, and he doesn't know.
He said, this is what he said here. He said, okay, so I'm taking 3 weeks for myself. Yes, this is coming on the heels of the news about Toriyama sensei. And yes, this could cause some unnecessarily excessive panic, but I'm not unwell. And while it does have to do with my body, consider this a type of scheduled maintenance rather than anything else. And more importantly, I think it's about time I start figuring out what the One Piece actually is. That is going to keep me quite busy, I'll have you know. It sounds severe, but what's that? You say you don't know about the relationships and connections of all of these characters popping up in the Egghead arc, and then he points out the characters that are on the page, and then he says to just go read the chapters, and then he talks about of course watching Netflix's live action and Monsters, adaptation of Monster. And then it says here over on YouTube, and you need a VPN for this, unfortunately. They're on the 8th cycle of Anytime One Piece, where the entire series is streaming on loop. I do want to point this out, though. You may not be able to watch it on YouTube, but on Pluto TV, and it is free. There is a One Piece channel where you can watch One Piece for free. It is sub only. There is no dub, which you should want to only watch it in sub anyway. The One Piece dub is horrible.
Yeah.
I don't know what episode it goes up to because I haven't watched it in a while. But yeah, you can watch episodes of One Piece on Pluto. but yeah, I may deny it, but I still think it has something to do. Yes, it's scheduled, but I still think part of it is for him to just like kind of clear his head from everything else that's happened.
Yep.
Well, again, like people don't. That's my favorite phrase lately. I apologize. The thing is that we're looking at here is that the Toriyama is an institution. A lot of people have a hard time grasping this because we don't live in Japan. We don't exist in their media bubble. We only kind of get like a little bit of overlap because our media is so jealous, I guess. I don't know. But the Toriyama is very much like Tolkien to them. He invented pretty much the shonen manga genre. Yes, it existed before that, but his work with Goku, young and as a young man there in the beginning of the Saiyan saga, that shaped what shonen manga is today. You can feel the fingerprints rather of Dragon Ball through just about every made for boys anime manga that has come out in the past 30 years.
Yeah.
Well, he's this century's Tezuka, essentially.
Sure. A lot of people don't know who that is. I'm just trying to relate him to a character here in the West, the person here in the West that we recognize as
I know, but I'm
huge,
just saying. I'm saying Tezuka died last century, obviously.
Right, and he was Astro Boy?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Absolutely.
He's the founder.
Yes.
He's the founder of modern anime and manga, period.
Yeah. And like Toriyama is an institution within that, basically. And so what Oda is going through and what all these many mangaka are going through is the loss of someone that quite literally showed them how to be successful, that endowed them with the framework to create these things that now shape entertainment around the world. And that's something. That's amazing. As sad as it sounds for Oda, it's quite astonishing to think that Toriyama had this kind of effect on someone like Oda, who has ruled manga for the better part of at least 20 years.
Well, something that's been frustrating me, I don't know if you guys have seen it on Twitter or not, and I'm hoping they're just trolls, but I feel like some of them are really serious, is that people are like saying that everything like started with One Piece and Naruto, and I've seen people like misconstrue what the big three is for a long time, but like, it just drives me nuts that none of these kids know their anime history. And it just makes me grateful that I grew up in the 90s, because Cartoon Network did show Astro Boy and Gigantor and Gundam and a lot of the old school anime that my parents grew up watching. They're not anime fans now, obviously, but you know. So it in the era of streaming, you don't get that anymore. They just watch what people think is cool. You don't get an anime education anymore.
Right.
I recently went through watching like an entire like anime catalog on Hulu, because I have access to Hulu at the moment, and there's a few shows out there that I found was like very interesting. But as someone who's kind of been like very, very off and on, like obviously I have like we all have like our shows that we gravitate towards the most. Like mine is obviously Digimon, and a few others like maybe Cowboy Bebop or like a Black Lagoon or something like that. But it's very odd because like for me, I found less into like the action type anime, more into I guess you would call it maybe like slice of life. That's the genre for it. Or like what was it? My after school like Dice Club. I think Nerdigans, I'm pretty sure you've heard of this one before. Yeah, like that one, and Erase was also another interesting one too. So those are like some of the ones that I grabbed. I actually like it more for like the storytelling. I guess that's kind of how my taste in like the whole thing has evolved over the years. I don't know. It's been a while since I've had Crunchyroll. Like I don't know like what will be like the hub for like modern like anime these days. If it was Crunchyroll, or maybe it's like some of the Netflix stuff. So which one would you recommend for more like modern takes? Like basically, it's a 2018 to like now currently.
Well, Crunchyroll has a lot of the modern anime. Hulu's starting to get a lot more modern anime because of Disney Plus. So you are on the right track with staying with Hulu for a lot of modern anime. Because one, Bleach is there. So you have all of Bleach, including 1,000-Year Blood War. You're getting Undead Unluck. You're getting Mission Yozakura Family. And if you like Sentai, I hate that stupid Kodansha USA name for it, but I'm going to call it the real name. Ranger Reject's going to be on there. So if you like Sentai, that's a good one that's coming out next month. Netflix is starting to get a little bit more modern anime. They're starting to get a little bit more because Crunchyroll's president is stupid. I don't know what he's thinking, but then again, it's the same guy that destroyed Funimation. So but yeah,
so he'll kill two companies.
Yeah, he's gonna kill two companies. Sony is stupid for putting that man in charge. Oh my god!
I mean, you're talking about the same company that put like Adam Sandler or Seth Rogen in charge. She should have very low standards when it comes to Sony.
But yeah, you're on the right track with sticking with Hulu. There's a really good series that should be on Hulu called Heavenly Delusion. That one is just beautiful. It's very weird and very bizarre, but it is beautiful if you're looking for some like a beautiful piece of art to watch. And it's in a post-apocalyptic series. It's really, really good.
So here's something I don't want to recommend. I want to give people a warning. This was a Trojan horse for me, and I'm kind of angry about it. Bravern. Bravern really made me angry. Has all the hallmarks of a really great giant robot story, has really great like action, really great character designs, great music. It focuses on a homosexual relationship between the giant robot and the pilot. I could not get you can't go a single episode without something like this happening, or the robot trying to like kiss this human that's like smaller than his hand. It's very uncomfortable. It's very awkward, and it's not played for laughs very often.
Oh
and
my God.
I don't like it. One of the things that charmed me about the first episode about this was that Bravern plays his own theme song. Like you remember in Project Meteor's Gundam Wing Abridged, you had the boy who killed aristocracy being played by Wing Gundam every time it made an attack on an Oz fortress or whatever, and it would just be like, and he's like playing it and he's like saying it out loud. This is what happens with Bravern. Is Bravern plays its own theme song. So the pilot's like, "Can you shut that off?" And Bravern says, "No, why would I want to shut it off? Just learn to fight beside it." And it's so they start fighting with the music. And it was really well done. And then at the end of the episode, this happens. And by the way, he's not piloting Bravern. He's writing him.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah, and like one
Anime
of the
can get weird. And
one of the scenes is Braver saying, I didn't let you ride me. You had the courage to ride me, Isami. And then they almost kiss. And I'm like, I'm gonna go. You fellas figure this out.
So when are we
and,
getting the sex scene? Because you know that's coming next. So it's like
I'm not gonna see it.
on under the covers together, like spooning like Saddam Hussein and Satan in South Park. It's just
oh, speaking of Zoids, it's Zoids anniversary too. Just remember
but
that.
we're gonna have to do an episode about that. So brace yourself for the Zoids 25th anniversary Tokyo Happy Hour episode.
Yeah,
that
was
was talk a lot about
Zoids anniversary. I don't remember the date. I know it is this year, but I think the actual date passed, but I can't remember.
Yep.
So many freaking series, man.
Nerdigans, have you ever seen, was it Kunama Drive? Have you ever heard that show? Or it's called like Reservoir Dogs in some places too.
Mm-hmm.
Are you aware of this one?
No, I don't think so. I'd have to look at it and see.
Cider, have you seen this one before?
Yeah, I've seen clips of it. Yeah.
Oh, okay, so you haven't seen like the full thing.
No, I don't watch anime that way.
Okay, never mind. Because I was gonna have a question about the ending, but yeah, it's like we'll get you guys there later once you guys catch up.
VTXXE here says, so like Pat Labor and its female cop, or like Zoids with Liger Zero, and no, it's basically if Optimus Prime wanted to have sex with Sparkplug.
Oh,
you know, that's basically, he's passionate. If Rodimus Prime, all that innocent passion that Rodimus Prime had, was focused toward having a sexual relationship with Sam Witwicky, yeah, that's what you're dealing with in Bravern. And it just made me so mad. I was like, it's a giant robot series. The last thing you need is like a human relationship. It's supposed to be about the ghost of the machine and how man is more than war and this. Nope, gay.
You think a Western Consultant was on this one?
No. I have a feeling that in Japan, see, they don't have the same kind of barriers that we do. So they were like, how do we make a mecha anime interesting? And they're like, oh, we'll just put a bunch of gay in it. And that's fine.
It sounds like the anime is gatekeeping itself. Like there's been a lot of series gatekeeping itself lately. I mean, there's 7 Deadly Sins / 4 Days of the Apocalypse. That's gatekeeping itself because people are stupid and don't read the series, and they just they say because one of the characters or two of the characters are getting with lollies, and then another character. Well, this one is this is very much pedo-ish. In the case of Jericho, having a crush on Bond's son or declaring her love for Bond's son just makes the series straight up pedo when there's more context to it. But they don't read the series, so they don't know. So that's a gatekeep. Then you got JoJo Lands, where you got have a straight up psycho moment with Jodio killing his brother's bullies because they basically molested / raped him. It was weird. It is weird, but it makes sense why Jodio would do it. This is JoJo Bizarre Adventure. Anything could happen in it, man. But
they're really stretching that definition of anything, right?
They already did before, but Araki just went. But to be fair, I have seen worse happen in Jujutsu no Rokunin than what I saw in JoJo Lands. So I've seen a lot worse. But what was the other one that was gay? Oh, and then Oshinoko, which I talked about last week. Oshinoko, a kiss between Ruby kissing Aqua is gatekeeping the series from these freaking psycho shippers. Oh my god! I swear, these people, man. Like, I really, really hate that anime and manga have gone mainstream. I really wish it would just go back to the underground and these people would leave.
So I found the scene. I found the scene. Brace yourself. It is intensely gay. So I'm just going to skip to. Yeah. All right. So thanks, Elon. A lot of help. Really appreciate it. Already really awkward, but whatever, bro. Appreciate it. Good job. Okay. You helped me find my courage. This seems really normal, right? This seems like, yeah, two guys are like having that honorable moment. Like, no, you are more honorable. No, you are more honorable. You know, like that. Yeah, that. No,
Yeah.
gay.
And they just start making out.
Close.
There is some phrasing here.
Because you rode me. No, you let me ride you.
The phrasing.
Ugh.
I didn't do it, me. No, but right about now, you're like, why is he positioned like that?
This is some this is gay Transformers, and I feel like that's Shia LaBeouf. I swear.
Yeah, he feels pretty wiki, doesn't
That
he?
looks like Shia LaBeouf. I just can't see it.
So is this the part where he gets his back blown out by like a 100-foot robot?
I was gonna say, Bravern's gonna divide him. That's for sure. Oh, you've always fought bravely. It's very sexy to me. Hold on. Okay. This is getting really weird now. It's like, all right, fellas, pull up. And he like glomps at him.
The fuck yes.
It was like, well, it could only have been like more awkward if he just said drop him and then just like lips up.
Right?
This is like if Optimus Prime declared his love for Shia LaBeouf. Like, this is just so
What did I tell you?
weird.
Yeah. And the girl.
I got raped by a 100-foot robot.
Yeah.
What
This
kind
is-
of fuck is this?
Yes. This isn't in an anime. This isn't a giant robot anime. This is what the Japanese thought.
This
Yeah,
ain't a
this is what'll
hentai.
set it apart. Yeah. So there you go.
Well, I mean, at least the good news is that Japan's on the brink of population collapse, and maybe that's a good thing at this point. So who knows?
Yeah, maybe Bravern will get canceled and the population, the baby rate will go up.
Yeah. Right.
But it just made me so mad. I was like, nah, this is not. It's a giant robot. It blows things up. It doesn't blow out backs. What are we doing here?
Quite literally, it's gonna put him in a wheelchair.
Yeah, right. But yeah,
This is wild, man.
yeah, it gets people talking. That's for sure. But maybe not the right kind of talk.
Well,
Maybe not.
Gushing with Magical Girls gets the right people talking, but the poor mangaka is out on indefinite hiatus. But ooh, did you guys see what happened? Did you see what happened with Anime News Network?
No.
No.
Oh, okay. Let me
Are they
pull
gone?
this up because they got destroyed when they were announcing that the Gushing with Magical Girls mangaka went on hiatus because they called them a pedo in one of their reviews.
What?
Yeah, they did. One of the reviews called the reviewer called the mangaka a pedo, and yeah, and the community, and it got the post reporting on the mangaka's health got community noted. Let me see if I can find it. I was dying when I saw it that it actually got community noted. Let me see if I can find this. But yeah, if you don't know what Gushing for Magical Girls is, it's basically this insane Yuri Magical Girl series that has taken the world by storm. I didn't realize how good it was until I read the manga. It's like borderline hentai. It really is. Yeah. Where are you? Stupid thing. Hold on a sec. I have it somewhere here. But yeah, it's borderline hentai. It's a really good series, but yeah, it's not for kids. No. It definitely is not.
I would say not. If it's borderline hentai, it should be nowhere near children.
No. But hold on. Where are you? I know I had you here somewhere. Just give me a sec.
Well, I mean, as we're coming down to the end of the show anyway, remember out there that 25 years of Digimon has happened. You lived through 25 years of Digimon, whether you knew it or not. Yeah. Apparently Metabots has been going for 25 years too. Who knew that, right? Good old
Yeah.
Metabee chugging along for 25 years.
It's going strong too.
Blows
I mean,
my
They're
mind.
still putting out models and everything, and I think they're putting out games too.
What?
I just wanted to find this. Let me see if I can actually like play this.
Oh, here it
first,
is.
For your...
I found it.
Wait,
Here, let me
where?
send you the link in the private chat. Hold on.
Okay.
There it is.
All right.
But yeah, it got community noted. I was so surprised. They are getting ratioed so hard for this.
All right, here it is. Okay. Gushing over Magical Girls manga is going on hiatus due to the author, Akihiro. I'm not gonna try that.
Ononaka.
Ononaka's poor health, and Takeshobo will announce its return once it's decided. Okay.
And then look at what the readers added context that they thought people want to know.
Anime News Network has made slanderous claims toward the author and animation staff of the series, calling both of the participants involved pedophiles, claiming the series was made by people clearly attracted toward children. Citation listed below.
And if you look at there's someone posted in the comments. Here, let me post. I'll give you the link to that.
Yeah, fitting when you think about it. There are more parallels between that piece of literary canon and this anime. Apart from both being works made by people who are clearly attracted to children. Yeah, Alice in Wonderland. Okay.
Yeah, there. I sent it to you in the private chat.
Okay.
Everyone I don't like is a pedophile, except for the people who I support who are actively in our public school system who actually happens to have sex with children in real life. But yeah, that's the way the world works now.
There it is. Right there.
Yeah. This is from a professional, quote unquote, professional journalist that did a review on, I think it was episode 5 of Gushing Over Magical Girls. They posted this. They wrote this. And that's why people are mad about, this article about Anime News Network reporting on this. I didn't retweet it or quote tweet it or anything because, it's not in the article itself. But I understand why people are mad.
Well, either way, I mean, like this, you're going to see more of this start to pop up because the Japanese are being incentivized by the government to tell people to have babies. And the government has said to push this down into children's entertainment as well, so that children have like a normalcy understanding about it, which when you really look at what's going on over there,
But it's not in children's but a lot of the stuff that I've seen, it's not in children's entertainment though. This is
I'm not talking about, I don't know. I'm not talking about porn. I'm talking about like the anime where there's the slice of life where like they are at a daycare center, their Spy X family, these kind of stories that are meant to like incentivize young viewers to start a family. Not,
or
not
you're talking
porn
about
stuff,
like shipping and stuff like that.
A bit of that, but like the actual anime itself spends more of its energy establishing a family unit than it does establishing a hierarchy of power levels. You know what I mean?
Well, that's not exactly a bad thing.
Well, no, it's not. But this is going to continue to clash with the West, who's obsessed with sex, obsessed with sexual identification. Bless you, Jacob. Goodness.
Sorry, every time I try to mute it, it's like it comes out.
Well, we saw with the McDonald's commercials. I mean, you saw. I mean, for those of you that don't remember, in McDonald's Japan commercials, they've been putting out these beautiful, like wholesome, like family commercials, and like frankly, it's kind of like stuff that we would see back in when we were growing up, like wholesome, and well, to an extent without Ronald McDonald. But we saw commercials like this growing up with with families going to the restaurants. But now, I mean, like you saw Westerners like hating and just giving so much crap to McDonald's Japan. And then you see what, McDonald's US did, and you compare it to what Japan did. It's just like, what the hell are you doing? It's like a huge slap in the face.
Yep.
It's like they don't want there to be any alternatives to their agenda, and they're realizing that people are finding alternatives in other countries where they don't have like a death grip on the industry like they have over here. So like I said, they're trying to find whatever creative way they can to essentially either subvert or bring down the culture of other countries, so that people won't look for. It's like, wow, why are they getting all like the sweet wholesome stuff, and we're just getting like the fat obese black trans woman saying stop killing us, even though we have nothing to do with their death rates like whatsoever. And how's this selling McDonald's here in the United States? Newsflash, it's not.
Cheeseburgers?
Cheeseburgers.
Cheeseburgers.
Well, you saw the McDonald's commercial, but they did it in
Yep.
English dub and Japanese dub. And oh my god, that English dub is so bad. Oh my god, I wanted to just like tear my hair out. It was horrible.
And this is what Jacob said, and I just want to like add on to that this is why we don't have a strong anime community in the US. The media coming out of Japan is pushing families. It's pushing having children. It's not trying to like get porn in front of kids. Yes, there's perverted stuff, but Japan has an entirely different culture about that stuff. Like Rosemon over there, this is a very normal thing. Super Sentai has sexual innuendos, swearing, death, gore sometimes. There's body parts that are lobbed off of people and creatures. This is all children's media. It's a very different culture. There's abuse. Granted, yes, abuse happens all over the world, yes, but what Japan's media is trying to push right now is family-friendly, procreation media, and our media is obsessed, and government is obsessed with death. And so this is why it's going to continue to clash. You're going to see more articles like this, more defamation of Japanese, because they're trying to resurrect normalcy.
But you know what's
Just
interesting? Like, I'm just thinking about this now that you mention it. It's like back when we were growing up, and I think even in the 80s, you can make the argument too. Our cartoons were a lot different. Like we had Rugrats growing up. We had As Told by Ginger. We had and Hey Arnold, which were very family based.
Rocket Power.
Yeah, Rocket Power was all about family.
Yep.
So it's so weird that like this is coming up now when we were growing up, it was a lot of our media was all about family.
It's almost like people
Static Shock's another one. I almost forgot about that. Static Shock's another one too, if you think about it.
You have one nation that's looking at the realistic reality of population collapse, and they're definitely trying to course correct. Then on this side of the world, you have one that's definitely trying to push depopulation. So you're having two entirely conflicting narratives. Like one country wants the one thing, but it's like no, you can't have that because that goes against what we're trying to do over here. And I also noticed that apparently there's this big fight in Japan right now over like a gay marriage ban that they're proposing. Like all the activists are like trying to like fight hard to, I guess, stop it from being passed because Japan doesn't want, at a time we're looking at population collapse, they don't need their population getting gayer right now. Like this would be like the absolute worst time period for that. And they don't want you
It is hard to have babies when you're the same gender.
Yeah, like I said, they don't want you to make that correlation that, an increase in LGBTQ actually lowers your population and actually crushes this rate, which is probably what we're going to be looking at here in the next, 10 to 20 years if we make it that long. But, that's a whole other conversation.
Well, they're about 10 years ahead of us on that. And so that's why I tell people is look at Japan, look at the trouble they're at. This is going to be what your kids have to deal with in 10 years. This is what
by the way,
deal with.
It's not just Japan. I say it's not just Japan too. Like I know, like South Korea is having this really big problem too because they have the opposite problem at the moment. I mean, it's not like the population crisis isn't affecting Korea too, but their problem in Korea is that the women are getting like progressively more into like feminism and like Western culture, while the men are becoming like much more conservative. So the problem in that country is that the men and the women aren't dating because they're so radically opposed politically that they don't even want to even like date each other just based on where their political views are.
Boy, that sounds familiar, doesn't it?
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, right.
How about that? It's almost like it's by design. Like there's some giant company maybe by the name of BlackRock that owns everything on this freaking planet.
Yeah.
Huh. And they don't like when people have babies. How about that? Yep. Huh.
It's almost like they're trying to like wipe out humanity. I wonder who would be involved in something like that.
But that would be some kind of anime plot, right?
Yeah,
some Kamen Rider plot, right? Certainly nothing in reality. You need a Digimon to fight some entity like that.
Yeah, right.
And then there's what Buddy Smith said too. But they're blaming Adventure Time. I gotta blame Tumblr for it. Tumblr has ruined everything. Tumblr refugees ruined Twitter. They've ruined everything.
I thought about that the other day. I said, what if the dissolution of Tumblr was to break out the SCP containment unit that it was for all the freakos that were just trapped in that never-ending cycle of gratification? And they just got spread out like a pox, like the smallpox plague, across the entirety of the internet because they couldn't post their porn anymore.
Yep.
Well, DeviantArt you can't post porn anymore either, so they can't go over there.
Well, it only took them 20 years. How about that?
I mean, the name is literally called DeviantArt. I mean,
yeah, right. Yes, it's true. It's true.
I think Pixiv is a little bit different. Pixiv, I know, because Pixiv is doing something smart. They're doing it by like region. So like Japan, they could do what they want because Pixiv is Japan based anyway. But like if you're outside of Japan, they're going to be a little bit more restrictive, and that's because they're combating the international credit card companies.
Right.
So they're being very slick with their terms of service, and also, you know, this all happened because the freaking Chinese were trafficking actual child porn and pictures of dead bodies on Pixiv under the AI tag. So that's what happened.
Damn Chinese.
Yeah, Chinese ruin everything too.
Oh, well. We've reached the end of the show, and before we bring up any more things that are going to get this channel struck, we should probably call it an evening. We appreciate you hanging out and talk to us about Digimon, Jacob. It was really nice of you to come on after a busy day, and then hopefully you can get back to Roadhouse before the sun rises.
Yeah, right. The second I'm done here with you, I'm going to finish up Roadhouse. Roadhouse looks pretty good so far. I haven't seen the ending yet, so I can't give it a full recommendation until I've seen the completed film. But I can tell you this much. It's far better than that Ghostbusters abomination that I saw earlier today. Yeah, if you guys want to check out that movie, they're turning it now into like a lesbian young adult franchise now, which is exactly what you want out of Ghostbusters, right?
They didn't learn.
No, I don't want any more Ghostbusters. I want them to stop. Just leave it alone. Let it die. But like Jacob, where do people... What's that?
No, I was just going to say, they're all 80 now. Then it's like, you know, no one cares about the kids. Now you're trying to make the kids gay. And it's like, okay, let's tap out now. You guys just can't let a good thing go. You know what I'm saying?
Right, exactly. So Jacob, where can people find you when the show's over?
So I have my own site, Society Reviews. I got the site up with all of our backlogged reviews, podcast streams, shorts, all that good stuff. I'm on YouTube, Rumble. I'm on Twitter as well, all on Society Reviews and Society Movies. Tomorrow night, we're going to be doing full reviews on Ghostbusters. We're going to do a review on Roadhouse and on the Immaculate film as well. I have a Monday Night Bible Lens podcast. So we talk about a whole bunch of deep doctrine topics, which is very, very interesting and fun. And then Tuesday night, it's the Barroom podcast as well. So we're up episode 92 coming up this next week. So,
and Nerdigans, where do we find you when the show's over?
You can find me on Nerdigans Inc. on YouTube, where I cover tons of manga and starting to cover a little bit more anime, or thinking about it anyway. And obviously I'm on Twitter covering, apparently I've started to cover more Gamergate 2 news than I thought I was going to.
Dun, dun, dun.
Damn it. But yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Packer Girl, P9CKER_girl on Twitter.
All right. And we appreciate you tuning in. Make sure you come back for Monday Rewind and check the channel every day for news videos being brought to you based on the articles we have. I'll spit out the words right eventually. And don't forget 01 on Wednesdays around here. If not, we'll catch you back here again for Tokyo Happy Hour next week. And hopefully something else will have an anniversary by then. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.